Okay, we're live officially. Okay, so I'm running a little late today, and that's fun. Let's bring this over here so I'm not looking over. There we go. That's better. So I'm not looking over at this monitor for comments. Oh my goodness, I am running real late. So I am so sorry. I mean, it's not that late, I guess, but almost 10 minutes. I realized, and I already have my food and my wine. It is only 2 p.m. I already have a glass of red wine. But I ended up running late because I was busy watching YouTube things. What is going on? There is a hair somewhere in this vicinity. And I don't know what is going on and where it is and why it's happening. But it's driving me bonkers. Okay. Is it gone? I don't think it is. I think, oh my goodness, people are going to be coming in here watching me just pick at my face. Okay. I think it's gone. Anyway, so I was running late because I was busy watching YouTube and waiting for my hair to dry. It's still not entirely dry yet. It's still actually kind of wet in the back, but it's also because the last like 20 minutes it's been back in a bun so I could put my makeup on. But yeah, so last week I was super early, but that was expected. I was super early for a reason last week. Somebody's here. I don't know who's here because nobody's commented yet. Making sure. I mean, it said that my sound was working, so I'm hoping my sound was working. Okay, that person left. I don't know. If anybody shows up, that's great. If nobody shows up, that's fine. This hair is still here somewhere. Oh my goodness. I'm going to ruin my makeup by like picking at my face trying to find that darn hair. It's still there. It's still there. I'm just going to, I can't. I don't know where it is. Oh, I think I got it. I think I might have gotten it actually. Maybe. Okay. I need to clean my glasses. I'm not using my shirt because you're not supposed to. You're supposed to use glasses cleaner and I can't remember the name of the fabric you're supposed to use, but you're not supposed to use your clothing. But you know what? I grew up in the 90s. We did a lot of bad things in the 90s. All right, we are 3 minutes away. 3 minutes away from episode recap. Hopefully somebody shows up. That'd be fun. But if not, that's fine because I already have food and I'm not going to turn to a mukbang. So, Oh, I haven't had wine in a while. That might sound shocking. It's been a few days. I haven't had wine in a minute. Last time I had wine, I think. Wait, no. I take that back. It actually has been a little bit because I've been actually on a vodka kick lately. So I've been drinking a lot of vodka 7-Ups. So lots of vodka 7-Ups lately. And I'm excited to film today because like I haven't filmed in a minute either because I've been taking a little bit of time off. Natalie's just swimming around right now. I hope she's healing up a little bit. All right. We are 2 minutes away from the episode recap. And still nobody's hanging out with me yet. That's fine. If nobody shows up, that's no big deal. I'm not going to cry about it. You might want me to, but I'm not going to. This is so much easier than filming an episode review and then editing it and then putting it live on Mondays. This has been so much easier. Do you see all of this cat hair that is on? I need to clean this pop filter so bad. I don't know if that just made a lot of noise. Sorry if it did. I'm not wearing my earbuds or my headphones, so I don't know. I'm not plugged into the way my microphone, what sounds are coming out of my microphone at the moment. I just don't feel like grabbing them there. Oh, they're just right there on top of my work computer. Okay. And yes, I'm using my microphone without a pop filter at the moment, which is terrible for it, but there. Is that better? It's actually a little cleaner, but not really. Oh my goodness, I need to clean this sucker. All right, 1 minute and counting. 1 minute. Might actually be like 30 seconds. I've not been paying much attention. Yeah, 20 seconds. Okay. And then we'll do the episode recap. If nobody shows up, nobody shows up. Then it means I get to eat my little personal pizza. So let's just get ready. Okay. Episode recap time. So this episode was called Winning Attitude. It is the 5th episode of Dino Fury. It opens with Izzy running and Javi off at the side, watching her with their cousin Lily. Izzy is training for a race. We get this glimpse of what looks to be a mean girl. She's new, but she kind of glares at Izzy for no reason. And Izzy kind of glares at her also for no reason. Izzy's cousin Lily is Izzy's trainer. Whoa, this is okay. Izzy's cousin Lily is Izzy's trainer and has competed in the Special Olympics. The Rangers, after meeting Lily, go and meet Salone, where they are trying to find the black and green Zords. Now they have black and green Rangers. Our lovely owner of Buzz Blast with the J-Borg are working with some kids about seeing Sporix and what to do in case of that. Anybody who grew up in the 90s probably has familiarity with something like that, not with Sporix, obviously, but like, you know, people coming and telling you how to handle a situation like things on fire and staying calm. Anyway, then a Sporix goes up in excuse me. Gotta love some of the symptoms of non-allergic rhinitis. Anyway, the Sporix goes up her pants and she kind of freaks out. And then once she gets it out, she kind of tries to play it off as, see, I stayed perfectly calm when she didn't. When a little kid actually stayed calm, called the Ranger hotline, and and then the Sporix becomes a Sporix beast and everybody runs away. Then the Rangers teleport there and morph and they fight the monster. It's a really cool fight sequence. It's one of the first times in these very new seasons where I'm able to really tell what's Sentai footage and what's not. It's getting harder for me to tell as we've been all using kind of the same footage, like the same kind of cameras. So it's a little harder. After the fight, Izzy goes to train and the others need to go get supplies for Salone's detector. Salone had decided she was going to create a detector in order to find the Zords. Void Knight has also been told of this plan and he may know where the Zords are based on some stuff he found within their base. The Rangers go to Izzy's race and back up. I forgot a piece because I realized, okay, back up. So actually, when Izzy goes to train with her cousin actually kind of blows her off in a way. Lily kind of blows her off. And then Lily comes to finally meet her to apologize for blowing her off. And Izzy's really upset with her. And Izzy doesn't even let Lily explain what she was doing. We find out later why she had to go shopping with her friend and why she needed to help her friend. But Izzy was considerably upset because obviously Lily is supposed to be helping Izzy. Izzy is really stressed out about this race and really wants to do well in this race. So she gets very, very upset. It turns out as they're at the race that Lily was actually helping her friend with a broken leg with her shopping. And so Izzy feels bad because obviously this friend has trouble getting around. This friend has trouble reaching high places and Lily can help with those things. So she feels bad, but she goes off to the race anyway because the race is just about to start just as she finds out about it. the Sporix Beast grows, and the comedic duo gets stuck in a dumpster, and they go flying down the road. They end up getting a ticket because they run into a cop car. It's a mess. Anyway, during the race, the mean girl trips and hurts her ankle, and Izzy decides to stop and help her instead of continuing the race, because she has such a lead that she's going to win at this point, especially if she leaves this person who was trying to beat her to be injured on the side of the running track. And so Izzy goes to help her. Mind you, this is a cross-country race, not a track race. So it really isn't anybody around. So eventually, as all of the racers pass by, this girl's picked up by a cart and brought back to the starting point and the ending point of the race. The others all go to fight the monster, and Izzy is told just to continue the race. Don't worry, we'll call you if we need you, kind of thing. So this is when Izzy, when she is finally alone, is hearing the villains. So she goes to see what's going on. Turns out the villains had figured out where the Zord was, or at least her Zord specifically was. And and Izzy was able to confirm that by taking out her key, and her key was glowing. So she decides to go and fight them and save her Zord. While the Rangers are fighting the Sporix Beast, they're having some trouble. They're not doing well against this particular Sporix Beast. Izzy then comes up with the idea of getting the Sporix Beast to come, or to guide the Sporix Beast, to lure the Sporix Beast to where she is, so that the Sporix Beast could possibly blast the mountain and free the Zord. So they do that, and Izzy has a Zord. Which then we have a new Megazord formation, which is really cool. So they do the new Megazord formation, and once the monster is defeated, the bad guys actually get this particular Sporix. So the Rangers don't get this particular Sporix. I think that means that the Rangers have 2 now, and the bad guys have 2. So that's where we're at. I think, if I'm counting correctly, I think that's where we're at. Izzy goes to finish the race, because she's never not finished a race, so she wants to finish it. After she finishes the race in dead last, Izzy then goes to apologize to Lily, to realizing she had treated her very, very poorly, which I think was expected, obviously. Even like the second that Izzy was pissed off, I knew that there was a reason why there was the storyline, and obviously Izzy was going to eventually have to apologize. So that was pretty much the end of it. It was a good episode. I felt like I really liked it. So let's go ahead and hit up my thoughts. Okay. So my thoughts on this particular episode was that it was honestly really good. The good stuff was, first of all, the representation. Representation is key, and Power Rangers has always been really good about representation. They have always made it kind of their point to try and have sorry, got distracted. I feel like representation, Power Rangers have always been really good about it, because they've always made it a point to try and have very diverse Ranger teams, which I think is really great. They've always made it kind of a point. You can say what you want about the first team with the color choices of particular members of the Ranger team. Having talked to one of the original creators, one of the original executive producers, that was completely and utterly by accident. Once they realized what they had done, they were flabbergasted at what they had done. So it was definitely not on purpose, even a little. At least that's the story that I've heard from one of the original producers. But representation is key. And so I love the fact that they invited an actual Special Olympics champion from New Zealand to come and be part of the show, and not make it inspiration porn. Like, they didn't make her special because she had some form of disability. She was just a person who was helping Izzy train because she is an athlete, and they never made it like this. They never, other than just talking about the fact that she was part of the Special Olympics, they never made her disability really anything. Like it was just her living her life as a Special Olympics athlete who is helping her cousin train for a race. Like I just feel like the representation, granted, I am not part of the disabled community, so I really cannot say whether or not the representation was accurate or that the representation was good. But from my viewpoint of the way that I have friends who are who are disabled talk about how they want to see representation, it felt like to me a really good representation. So I'm very curious of anybody who is disabled, part of the disabled community, if you feel like the representation was good. Let me know in the live here. I see we've got a couple people in the chat now. Or let me know afterwards what you guys felt about the representation. Again, I can't say whether or not it was good or bad because I'm not part of that community. However, from what I've understood, hearing people from that community, this felt like something that was a really solid representation. Then the story, I felt like the story was really just good. It was a pretty after school special kind of story, but at the end of the day, like, that's what you're going to get in Power Rangers almost all the time since Neo Saban. Like that's how it's always been. Somebody messes up, they have to apologize at the end. It's very normal for a kid show. So I'm not mad about it being kind of a after school special kind of story. But I liked the story. I felt like the story was pretty solid all the way through. There really was nothing in it that made me go that was unnecessary. I think the only piece of the story that was kind of unnecessary was the mean girl. There was really nothing aside from her hurting herself. She really didn't have much of a character, so there was really no reason for them to have this rivalry. They never really set that up. It just kind of existed to exist. I think that's probably the only thing about the story I didn't love. But the only thing that I didn't like is just the comedic duo. You guys should know this by now. I'm not a big fan of Power Rangers comedic duos, especially since Neo Saban took back over. I mean, obviously this is Hasbro, but when we're talking about when I stopped liking the comedic duos, it was when Neo Saban started happening because they've just not been good since then. So they've not been good since I would say, well, when was the last like true comedic duo? I suppose Dino Thunder was probably the last like true comedic duo with Cassidy and Devin. So, but that's what my thoughts are of this particular episode. So let me know what you guys think. We have Lanzo saying Izzy's cousin's friend looks more like Izzy than she does, in my opinion. Yeah, I would agree. The family resemblance between Izzy and her cousin. Granted, I don't think that they are blood related. I think that because Izzy's a stepchild within within this particular family, and so it's clear that if this cousin is also Javi's cousin, then that means that this is probably she's probably like a step cousin to Lily because she's a stepdaughter to, or a stepsister to Javi. So, so there's that. But yeah, I would have to agree that the even when the episode started and then she was introduced as the cousin, I was like that. I don't see the family resemblance. Not that there has to be with cousins, because I certainly don't look like all of my cousins. And we have a pretty, not really diverse, but like European diverse in our family. Like we're Norwegian and we're Polish, which have two very different looks. So some of my family members look very, very Polish. I look very, very Norwegian. So I definitely don't even look like my sister. My sister takes after the Polish family. I take after the Norwegian family. So there's that. But yeah, I have to agree. The family resemblance is not there. Hello, Raphael, if you're still here. And yeah, the comedic duo in this show isn't really funny. I don't think comedic duos are. I think these two are at least better at doing cartoony characters. I feel like in the past we've had, Paul Schreier is really good at doing cartoony, but he has to have a good Hardy to his Laurel. So if you guys don't know Laurel and Hardy, that's how he was with Jason Narvi, which I think was a perfect pairing. But when he was with the kid who played Spike, I didn't think he was very good. But I think these actors are at least good at doing cartoony characters, where I feel like, as an example, Ben and Betty, terrible at doing cartoony characters. Their cartoony characters just came off as very frustrating and very unnatural, where I feel like the two actors now can pull off the cartoony without it feeling unnatural. It feels like they are meant to be cartoony. They, like, it almost feels like she's eccentric and it makes sense for her to be eccentric. And then of course the J-Borg, who's a robot, right? But I think Ben and Betty were handed funnier storylines because they were actually part of the story. But I hated Ben and Betty. So I'm not going to say that I'm not going to agree that they're funnier, but I have to agree that there's a stark difference between this comedic duo and Ben and Betty, because Ben and Betty, like I said, were part of the story. They were generally part of the A story, where these two are off in some weird C story land. Because obviously with this one, if you're talking, hello, Matthew. So if you're talking A story, B story, this particular episode definitely had A story and B story. Their A story was the Rangers' story of finding the Zords and fighting the monsters, things like that. And then the B story is Izzy's race, is the B story. The important but also lesser important. So with this comedic duo, what you end up with is them having this weird side C story that doesn't need to happen. There's no reason for them to be there. So I think that might be why people are really having a hard time attaching themselves to these characters, because there's literally no reason for them to exist. There's absolutely no purpose to this comedic duo, which is annoying to say the least. Is very annoying. But yeah, so that's where I'm kind of at with those two. I think that might be why people are really having a hard time attaching themselves to this comedic duo, because there's literally no reason for them to be part of the story. At least Ben and Betty had like a reason, because they were part of Grid Battle Force, so like it made sense to have them be part of the story. But these two they're like, oh, we need a cut in the story. So I hope in the future for Sentai, it'll be on stream services via voice dubs or multi-language subs or both. I would love to have Sentai more readily available. It stopped right before the season I really wanted to watch. It stopped right before Power Ranger, and I'm very angry about it. I mean, I know I could watch it anytime I want, but I personally, I do not judge others for their decisions. If you ask my opinion, I will tell it to you, but unsolicited, here's my opinion on how I react to it, how I personally make choices to watch stuff. I will only watch something that is legally readily available. I do not watch bootlegged versions of stuff. I do not watch fan subs. I don't watch that kind of stuff. That's my personal thing. I choose to wait for it to be legally licensed in the United States before I will watch it. So I'm stuck at Hurricaneger at the moment, which makes me very sad. So those are my thoughts. Let's go ahead and just switch to just chatting. So anyway, but that's where I'm kind of at. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on Dino Fury? I keep wanting to say Beast Morphers, but I also keep wanting to say Jungle Fury. I actually almost wrote Jungle Fury down on my notes. So that's fun. I need to rewatch Dino Charge. It has been a minute since I've watched Dino Charge. It's actually, that's a lie. Right around my birthday, I started rewatching Dino Charge, but I stopped because there was this weird glitch with Netflix with Dino Charge where it wasn't like playing the next episode. So every time the episode ended, it would go back to rewatch this episode, and then I would have to like click to episodes, click the next one. I'm like, that's more work than I want to deal with at the moment. So, and yes, I already have wine if you've not been here since then. Oops, I just hit my microphone. Sorry about that. I need to rewatch Dino Charge at the end of the day. I don't have it. It's not one of the ones I've bought. I've bought quite a few, though. I have In Space, Lost Galaxy, Time Force. SPD, Mystic Force, and RPM, I think, are the only ones I've got at the moment. I need to get back into buying them. I've been buying like a couple per paycheck, but then I stopped for a little while because I'm working on a project at the moment that's taking up a lot of my extra funds. So, side project. I get to film for part of it today, which I'm very excited about. So, where do I think it'll be ranked for me so far? Will it be high on my list or pretty low? It'll actually be probably higher. From where I'm at right now in the show, I mean, we're still building because obviously we only just added the 4th and 5th Rangers. So we're finally at the core team, and Javi doesn't even have a Zord yet. So like we're working on it. But from the acting, from the stylistic portion of it, from how I feel about the writing thus far, it's probably gonna be a bit higher. It might be right around Dino Charge level is probably where I'm at emotionally with Dino Fury, but it could go either way at this point because we're only on episode 5. So like really we could go anywhere. But I have faith in Simon Bennett. And here's the thing. I had faith in Simon Bennett when he was announced as the showrunner, because the episodes of Beast Morphers that he directed, for the most part, there were a couple in there that I wasn't a big fan of, but the episodes that he directed of Beast Morphers were fantastic, were some of my favorites. So I have faith in Simon Bennett as the showrunner. He can't do any worse than Judd Lin the last few seasons. So, basically since Judd Lin came back, he was like, Dino Charge was looking so good and it was so nice to have Judd Lin back. And then Dino Charge fell apart in season 2. And then after that we had Ninja Steel, which was atrocious. And then we had, Beast Morphers, which was good, which was, fine. And now we have this. So that's where I'm kind of at. What's my favorite episode so far? The last one. Last week's episode was probably my favorite so far. And only just because I really liked how they introduced Javi and Izzy. They introduced them separately, but they are brother and sister. So I thought that was kind of an interesting way to introduce them. And I really loved when she ripped off the skirt, because and I said this in last week's live stream, which nobody came to, but that's fine. I did it at 10 a.m. So it's fine. But the fact that we've had so many gender bending Rangers in the past, we had the original Yellow Ranger. And then after that was Maya and Kelsey and Katie are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. I don't think I'm missing anybody else. I guess technically Aisha as well, but only just because she took over for Tanya and they use the same suits. But at that point, they were using mostly American footage for the suit fighting, so it wasn't a big deal. But we've had, a lot of gender bending before in Power Rangers, and this one, when they announced that they were going to make the Green Ranger a female, I wasn't thrilled about it. I'll be honest. I never like when they do that. It's always really frustrating for me when they do that. But the fact that they made it a thing about her just ripping off her skirt really made it kind of feel better to me. Just because, and I watched it over a couple of times because I was like, that is fantastic. Because that's the thing is you can always tell when it's a gender bending Yellow Ranger in the past, because the Pink Ranger or White Ranger will have a skirt and the Yellow Ranger doesn't. And so the fact that they don't match, not that women have to wear skirts, because I'm a woman and I don't wear skirts, but still the stylistic aspect of it. And plus in a lot of Sentai footage, you can tell it's a man because of bulges. But and Maya was a really bad okay, I love Sierra Vincent, but she's way too well endowed to play a character that is actually a man in the Sentai footage. Let's just put it that way. It's very awkward for her to go from very large breasts to none at all. But anyway, but the stylistic of it being that they don't match, kind of, I don't know, it always kind of bugged me as an adult looking back. And then, but so to have her ripping off her skirt was absolutely fantastic. So the last episode was my favorite. Hope the Power Rangers comics get adapted. That'd be cool. I'd like to see. I've never wanted Power Rangers to become an animated series, but I wouldn't mind some side stories to be animated. So comics to be animated would be great as a side story, but I would never want a like main Power Ranger season to ever be animated. Personally, I would not like that. I know a lot of fans are like that, but are really into that idea. I hate that idea. So I don't want it to be a main storyline, but I would like it to be maybe a mini series or like a side series, something like that, but nothing main. Your favorite episode is episode 3 so far? I'd have to try to remember what episode 3 was off the top of my head, but I wonder how they'll introduce the Gold Ranger. I don't know. I have a suspicion that it'll probably be somebody from RAFCON, might tie back to the message that Zato was not able to hear. That would make sense for it to be kind of, I mean, they're already making his backstory very Andros-y, so it wouldn't be surprising since, you know, Andros had Zane. It wouldn't be surprising that the Gold Ranger is probably a leftover Ranger from RAFCON. And maybe the original Gold Ranger that we saw in the flashbacks. Who knows? Don't know. Did I not say Wild Force? I thought I said Wild Force. You're right. I probably didn't say Wild Force. Because I did say White Ranger, though. So I did, in my head, have Wild Force. I did not, you're right, did not say Wild Force. I think I stopped at Katie. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yes, I did miss Taylor. That was also a gender bending. But I did say White Ranger when I said the Pink Ranger or White Ranger has a skirt. So, because Alyssa was a White Ranger. And so was the Gal Ranger, was also considered a White Ranger. Who do I like more, Javi or Izzy? I think I like Izzy more. And only just because, like, it's so funny. These two girls are basically me, just in two different people. So Amelia is like me personality-wise, just kind of really into ghosts, really into supernatural stuff, super into anything like that. To an extent. I don't like vampires and werewolves, that kind of supernatural, but I like ghosts and aliens and all that kind of stuff. Love that kind of stuff. And then Izzy is an athlete, which I don't look like an athlete, but I am, believe it or not. I actually weightlifted a lot this morning. And plus she's also not super girly, which I am not a girly girl. I'm not a stereotypical feminine person. I'm actually pretty stereotypically masculine. So I appreciate some femininity, but I'm not super into it. So probably those two, or Izzy. I like Izzy better than Javi because of that. But the two girls are basically me, and those two together, and you get me, and I just love it. You didn't like Dimensions in Danger, I think is what it's called. I felt like it should have been a two-parter. I mean, it was technically kind of, but I feel like it should have been like Once a Ranger, where it was longer with the veteran Rangers. Once a Ranger is still my favorite anniversary special, but nothing will beat that, I don't think. I mean, who knows what Simon Bennett will hopefully do at the 30th, but because we're nearing the 30th. But yeah, the 25th, it was okay. It was fine. It's not my least favorite. It's also not my favorite. My favorite, or my least favorite, is still and always probably will be Legendary Battle, the 20th, because Legendary Battle was I appreciated the attempt. A for effort. But F on every other aspect of the grade you can provide. This is random, but I was thinking about this the other day. What's your opinion on when shows incorporate holidays into episodes such as Halloween special? Do you find it fun or kind of unfitting? The way that Power Rangers does it is really stupid because they make it kind of randomly. They don't put it in where we are in the show, because usually at the end of, well, not the Halloween episode, but the Christmas episode is almost always after the season finale of season 1. And so they're kind of at a stopping point. And then the Christmas special is just, oh, by the way, this happened randomly through the course of the season. I don't like that. The way they used to do it was fine. And I also don't love it because I feel like, as I was talking about in my thoughts, that I like representation, and they make it so clear that they do Christmas episodes and they don't really incorporate other holidays that exist around this time. They did in one episode in Zeo. I think it was Zeo. They actually did a holiday episode where they talked about Hanukkah, they talked about Christmas, they talked about Kwanzaa, where they actually did incorporate other religious holidays into the holiday special. And I really prefer that personally. And that's coming from somebody who is very much raised and born and believes in being a Christian. Like, I am definitely a Christian. And I'm not going to talk about it because I don't talk about my religion, but that's coming from when it's important, I do bring it up. In this case, it is, because a lot of Christians are really bad about accepting other holidays around that time. And I'm like, no, let's have those holidays. Let's celebrate those, not us celebrate the holidays, but like, let's celebrate people who do celebrate those holidays. And let's have those be part of the grander scheme of things. And maybe Simon Bennett will, who knows? I don't know. But in other shows outside of Power Rangers, I think usually they're fine. I really love, like, obviously she's a terrible human being, but I love the sitcom Roseanne. Like, don't get me wrong, she's a terrible human, but love the sitcom Roseanne. And the way that they did their Halloween episodes, beautiful. And Friends with all their Thanksgiving episodes. I think that there are some really good series that do those really well. Superstore was another one. Oh, I'm so sad that ended this week. Anyway, Superstore was another one that really did well with holiday episodes, only because it was set around being inside the store. And if you've ever worked in retail and worked holiday season, you feel the pain of those episodes. But yeah. Whenever Power Rangers airs on Nickelodeon, they always have a body swap episode. So I wonder how they will do a body swap in the show. They don't always do a body swap, but they do a body swap pretty frequently. I don't think they've always done a body swap. I don't think every single season has a body swap. I can't think of one like Mystic Force or RPM. And those are seasons I've watched a lot. Was there one in SPD? I don't think there was one in SPD either. Yeah, they don't always do it. Oh, on Nickelodeon, though. Wait, I read that again. On Nickelodeon, they always do a body swap. Did they do one in Beast Morphers? I don't remember. Anyway, that's where we're at. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I'm guessing, well, it all depends on who I guess they do it in the Sentai, who has a body swap in the Sentai, maybe. I don't know. Not all Sentais have it, though, so who knows? When will we have a Sentai female 6th Ranger to balance out the team? Who knows? I mean, technically, Go-Onger did. Go-Onger had a female, well, kind of. The sixth Ranger was 6th and 7th, but one of them was a female in Go-Onger. Who's my least favorite Ranger on the show? Oh, probably Zato right now. Only just because while I'm starting to understand Russell's decision or Russell's directed decision to play really flat, and it's starting to be less and less, I would have to say Zato, just because I personally, as an actor and director, don't love flat acting. It is definitely a decision. It's a viable decision. It's a valid decision to act flat if the character calls for it. And this particular character certainly probably does. But I wish that the flatness would have been more Andro style, more what Christopher Kamen Lee did, which was more socially awkward. And he's definitely played that in some episodes as very socially awkward. But in my opinion, just the starting out was really, really flat and was not socially awkward flat. So, but I do see his talent through it. So I'm not saying he's a bad actor, even a little. He's fine. And I think he'll do really, really well. I really like him. I think he's going to be a really great Red Ranger. But out of all the other characters who have more characterization at this point, I would have to say Zato is my least favorite at this point. Dino Fury was almost called Dino Knights. There was a rumor that it was going to be called Dino Knights. I remember there being a theory out there that it was going to be called that, but I never saw anything official that it was ever going to be called that. But I do know that there were a lot of fan-made trailers and fan-made openings and things like that, where they called it Dino Knights, but there was never anything official where they said that. So yes, 100%. 100%. If I never see Tommy Oliver ever again, I will be a happier person. The only thing I would ever want to see Tommy, like a Tommy story ever, is at this point, whether it's comics or a side story, like a mini series, made for TV movie, whatever, made for Netflix movie. Maybe I'm really hoping they move to Netflix. At least some things move to Netflix. But Power Rangers is off Netflix completely now, so who knows? Well, not completely. There's still like the first season of Mighty Morphin, Ninja Steel, and Beast Morphers, I think, is all that's left there now. I haven't looked in a minute, but so that might not be correct. But anyway, I would like to see the story in which, and this would probably have to be animated, but they could use the same actors at least to voice the characters. But I would like to see how the story progressed to Dino Thunder. So I would like to see Tommy meeting Anton and meeting Smitty and seeing that relationship, and then figuring out why Smitty had that kind of irritation towards Tommy, and what led them to going to the island to create the why can't I think of the name of the little pawn guys? I can't think of their names. Pteranodrones. There it is. Pteranodrones. What led them to make those and things like that. So I would like to see that story, only just because I feel like that's a missing piece of the puzzle for a season I do genuinely like, regardless of Tommy's involvement. But yeah, I would say I don't like Tommy. And if I never see him in anything new, I'll be fine. Speaking of Tommy, people might hate me for this, but I always shipped Tommy, Kimberly and Jason rather than Tommy and Kim. Actually, that is not bad. I don't, only just because I feel like they're like brother and sister, but that's pretty much it. But most people prefer Tommy with Kat than they do with Tommy and Kim, because Kim is a terrible person who broke up with Tommy with a Dear John letter. So spoilers, sorry. But yeah, a lot of people prefer Tommy with Kat. And I think canonly, I think they're married, aren't they? Isn't that the canon that they're married? I don't know. Yes, you did miss the beginning, Kitty. That's okay. You're here now. You're right. And I freaking love that episode. How did I forget about that episode? That has my favorite little musical sequence in all of Power Rangers. Oh my gosh. I don't know how I forgot about that one. Power Ranger was the very first Sentai I watched all the episodes. Zyuranger was my first one that I watched all the episodes. And then I watched Jetman. And then I stopped watching Sentai because that's when I got my little thing where I wouldn't watch anything that wasn't legally licensed in the United States. So I stopped watching Sentai for a very long time until Zyuranger came out with Shout, and then I started collecting that. But Power Ranger I have watched, and Power Ranger I have finished. Power Ranger was okay. Not my favorite, not my least favorite Sentai. It was fine. Very similar to Wild Force, so I prefer if Ravi and Blaze from Beast Morphers, if they were a couple. Ravi and Blaze, really? Wouldn't have thought that one. Interesting. I'll have to like rewatch Beast Morphers with that in mind. I never would have gone that direction, but that's an interesting thought. I think Dino Fury morph sequence looks awesome. It is my favorite morphing sequence thus far. Not gonna lie. I love the morphing sequence. The morphing sequence is probably gonna be my favorite from here on out. That's another video idea. Right now all I can do is rank stuff because like I don't have all the seasons, so I can't do my deep dives yet. That was the plan for 2021, was to do my deep dives into Power Rangers. Rewatch every season and like do a big, huge, deep dive as a filmmaker, as a film critic, as that's in my education, film critic, into like if they were any good or not. But can't do that now that it's off of Netflix and I have to buy all the seasons. I probably have enough to at least get started, but I don't know if I want to buy Lightspeed Rescue. I don't know if I want to buy Samurai. You know what I mean? Like seasons I don't like. I don't know if I want to buy them. They're supposed to be coming to YouTube, I think, but I don't know if they're going to be free on YouTube or if they're going to be subscription based. Who's your favorite side character in the show? Mine would have to be Izzy and Javi's dad. I don't have a favorite side character. I don't like the side characters at all, personally. I don't like cartoony characters unless the cartoony characters make sense. And I feel like Power Rangers never does cartoony characters well in general. Except for during the Disney era. I think they did cartoony characters really well, and like of course Bulk and Skull. But other than that, I don't think that they've ever done cartoony characters well. Specifically, like I said, starting Neosaban. So I don't have a favorite side character because none of them float my boat because they're all just too cartoony and just annoying as heck. Geiki is not my favorite Red Ranger, but he is Zor's brother in Sentai. Is he? I mean, I guess I've never seen another brother that I can think of. Have I? Well, okay. The Hurricaneer, they were brothers, and I don't remember the Thunder Rangers. That's the Power Ranger counterpart. Can't think of their names at the moment. But was there other brothers other than that? I don't remember. Don't waste my money on Samurai. No, that's the thing is like there are seasons I don't want to buy because like I'm never going to watch them. The only time I'm going to rewatch them is literally for my deep dives and that's it. Like there's literally no other reason to buy them. Agreed. The Dino Fury casting in general has been pretty good. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of cartoony characters personally, but that's a personal preference. And I can set aside my personal preference and say that the casting is still good. I'm not saying the casting is bad. Like I said, even with the comedic duo, which I don't like, but the comedic duo actually does a really good job at being cartoony. I just don't like that characterization as much. And I don't think that they're executed well in general, but I think the casting is really good. Personally, but yeah, I agree. Some decent home runs. I think this cast is probably one of the best casts we've seen in a while. I would have to say this is probably our best cast since maybe RPM. I think the RPM cast is better, but it's probably our best cast since RPM, honestly. So we're talking since 2009. Power Rangers Kids official channel has been uploading Dino Charge. Oh, so I can watch Dino Charge there. Good to know. I'll have to go check that out. Figure out what's going on. Why is my dog digging in the carpet? My dog is currently digging. Cosmo, come here. What are you doing, weird dog? Come here. What are you doing, weird dog? Hi. Anyway, but yeah, so that's good to know that that's where it might be. And the channel is also uploading previous upcoming Dino Fury episodes. Okay, interesting. I love Hurricaneer characters more than the show. I feel like Hurricaneer was really good. Hurricaneer is probably a really like one of my favorites. I did a video on how I felt about each of the Sentais after I finished. No, I think I finished Power Ranger. I don't think I'd watched Hurricaneer at that point. No, actually, I think it was after Time Ranger. I don't think I had seen Power Ranger yet either. But yeah, Hurricaneer is one of the good ones, one of the really, really honestly good ones. Because I feel like it was similar enough to Ninja Storm, which obviously is what I watched first, because I watched that. I was a freshman? in high school now it came out, I think. I don't remember. I'd have to look at that. I'd have to like do the math and figure that out. But I think it was like a freshman in high school when that one came out. And so I'd watched it live. I watched it as it aired. And I felt like it was really cool and really dark. And it was really just, I just felt weird because it was Disney and I didn't like that, which is weird because I love Disney. But could you tell I love Disney? Anyway. But it wasn't Saban, so I didn't like it at the time. But looking back, I really love it. And but I think Hurricaneger is honestly better because it goes darker. And it was really fun. That was one of the ones that was really, really fun. Because what I did when I was watching the Sentai was I would watch the Sentai and then I watched the corresponding Power Rangers season. And when I watched Hurricaneger, I was really excited to watch Ninja Storm. And so I watched Ninja Storm and I was like, and some of the decisions that were made in Hurricaneger were so much darker and it was so good. Yes and no. Again, I look at things from a director's point of view because I'm a classically trained actor. If you guys don't know what that means, there's a channel on my video on my channel about it. I'm a classically trained actor. I'm not a classically trained director, but I'm a classically trained actor. But I am a trained director. I have been directing for a good portion of my adult life. So I look at things from a very different point of view than a lot of other people, I think. But I am also very picky. So I think the Beast Morphers cast was probably the best since RPM as well. And then this just overcame it. And I think that this cast is way better than Beast Morphers. And the only reason I say that is because I feel like the Beast Morphers cast, while good, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the Beast Morphers cast. I feel like there were a lot of moments where they were really weak. And only just because they all seemed very new, maybe had just come from theater. And if you don't know enough about transitioning from theater to film acting, and by film acting, I mean just acting for the camera. If you don't know enough about that transition, you can come off very weak on camera because of how essentially how it's different. So you come off very weak because a lot of times you overact when you think that that's the correct decision to make, because that would be the correct decision to make on stage. And I'm going to make a whole video when I can. I want access to a theater, and I've got friends that work in theater, so I'm hoping to get access to a theater at some point to film in. But I do want to do a video where I talk about the difference between stage and on camera, because there are major differences between the two. But I think maybe I can just explain it, but I wanted to like showcase it, how it's different, but I don't think that that's going to be a possibility. I could probably get into my old high school theater, but that's a drive, man. That's 3 hours north of where I live now. So I probably could get into that theater, but do I want to is the question. Because do I want to make that drive? I've got family up there, so I could just stay with family. And I've got friends up there, so I could just stay with friends. But that's a drive. But something to think about. The Ninja of the Ninjas. Ninja Storm. Is that what you're talking about? That's the best ninja season. Even season 3 of Power Rangers wasn't as good. Of Mighty Morphin wasn't as good. So yeah, it's my favorite ninja season. I hope you can see Ciara Hannah. I don't think she's acting right now because she just had a baby. So I don't think we're gonna be seeing Ciara Hannah anytime soon. But yeah. I mean, I'd like to see her back. She came back for the 25th, so hopefully she'll come back for something else. But let's let her be a mom first. But yeah. So I'm all caught up with oh wait, just got a new one. What's your favorite Dino season of Power Rangers? Dino Thunder. Easy. As much as I don't like Tommy, Dino Thunder was a solid season. Solid. And it was probably my favorite season I've ever seen Tommy into. Just because I think that his characterization in Dino Thunder was really cool. Kind of dark, which I liked. But which is why I want to see what led up to that. Like, what led him to be so dark. I would like to see that. But yeah, Dino Thunder is probably my favorite Dino season. I mean, this might surpass that. We'll see. But we got to see where the story is going to go. But to answer Matthew's question from a little earlier, I would have to say that this one might surpass quite a bit. Agreed. Sierra Hanna by far was the absolute best actor in Megaforce and Super Megaforce. And I think Azim Rizek was, if I said that right, I'm sorry if I did not. Azim Rizek, I think, is second best. And then everybody else was pretty much trash, if I'm being super, super honest. And not like they're untalented. I just think that they were super green. It's hard to find. I mean, there have definitely been actors in Power Rangers where I would say never act again. Andrew Gray might be. He's my, like, oh, he might be one of those people because he just doesn't have a personality. But there are definitely some where I was like, there is no talent there. But in a lot of cases, I can definitely see, see talent in there somewhere deep down inside. So I think a lot of times it's just that they're green, that they're just green. I just saw the new comment, which agrees with me. I don't think I had said it when you typed that in, but I didn't see that comment until just now, which we'll get to. But I think a lot of them were just green, which I think I give a lot of leeway with green actors because of that. But favorites Sentai theme songs? Ooh, that's tough. I have. Oh wait, I think that went live already. My ranking all the Power Rangers themes. Die Ranger. It's probably my favorite. I will never get over Die Ranger's theme. It's so good. I like Die Ranger's theme. We're gonna go with Die Ranger. I think Die Ranger has the best theme in all Sentais that I have seen. I've definitely seen some openings that I've not of Sentais I've not seen. Those I'll watch. Clips I'll even watch. There have been some that I've seen like where they're side by side. So like Mystic Force versus Magi Ranger. Like I've seen like side by side shots, like where they're showing a scene from Mystic Force and showing a scene from Magi Ranger, and showing where they cut and the Sentai footage and how they changed things up a little bit, like the dialogue changes as well. But I don't really trust fan subs a lot because like when you've been an anime fan for as long as I was, and I say that past tense because I have a huge trauma response to anime right now. So hopefully with my therapist, we can maybe start watching anime again at some point. But anime is very traumatic. Again, there's a video on my channel all about it. Fan dubs were almost always incorrect. Like they were either literal translations or somebody thinks they know Japanese and they actually don't know Japanese and can't put it into proper context because they don't know the culture. And this is when I had saw that the worst actor was Andrew Gray. Yeah, 100%. Terrible, absolutely atrocious. And if he ever comes across this video, I'm not sorry. Go get acting lessons. My favorite Sentai theme is Tokyuger. I don't think I've seen Tokyugers. But maybe I'll watch that one after the live stream. Last time I watched a Sentai theme song on a live stream, I had to cut it out later because not that I can monetize because I can't. That was taken away from me a couple years ago, but they still copyright claimed it. And it was like the music group and there wasn't even sound in the video. I was listening to the sound, but I couldn't make the sound work in the live stream. So, but the musical artist still copyright claimed it. So I just cut it out. So we're not going to play it right now. So go watch Tokyuger's opening theme after this. Goki Ranger, Gokaiger is pretty awesome too, and Q Ranger. Gokaiger, is that Super Mega Force? I don't remember. I need to go look that up. I don't necessarily remember all the Sentais all the time. Wait. Oh, that one. Yeah. Trying to remember, is that Super Mega Force? Yeah, that's Super Mega Force. That's what I thought. And then Q Ranger. I feel like I should know what that one is. Is that? Oh, that's the one that I watched on the stream, I think. Yeah, I think that's the one that I watched on the stream. Yeah, that was a pretty good one. Yes, Dino Rangers theme song is a bop. It is a bop. And I just really love the visuals too. Like the visuals are also important to me. So I love Dino Ranger, but the last episode though, oh my gosh. Dino Ranger was the first one, I mean, it shouldn't have been because like there was some pretty dark moments in Izzy Ranger and there were a couple, I mean, the end of Jetman, let's be real, but like the end of Dino Ranger made me just weep. It was so sad. I mean, it was really great ending and I don't want to spoil anything, but there were some dark moments in the end of that show. Imagine how bad Megaforce and Super Megaforce would have been without Sierra. I mean, unwatchable. I mean, if they had a bad actress to play Gia, who Gia is my favorite character in Megaforce / Super Megaforce, but if they had a bad actress playing Gia, I mean, and the only good actor is Jake, like, I'm sorry, Azim Rizek is a good actor, but he couldn't hold down that show by himself. It's good that his love interest was able to help him hold it down. Really made it better. Q Ranger is one of the most fast. Yeah, the one that I think that's the one that I watched on the stream before. I don't get in Super Megaforce is that the Sentai before Zhu Ranger were in the show. I don't know why they were there. What? I'm confused. Zhu Ranger was like 1992. Super Megaforce was 2013. 2014 was when Super Megaforce was. I rephrase that comment. I'm not sure. I'm not understanding, but that's just my brain. Zhu Ranger was Mighty Morphin. I know that. I've seen Zhu Ranger. So yeah, I know it's Mighty Morphin. Gokaiger is one of my favorite seasons of Sentai. I've heard Gokaiger is really good. I've heard it's really, really good. And I do want to see it. It's one of the ones I want to see, but Shao needs to get their crap together and make it. Or not make it, but send it. Give it to me. And every Sentai that came out before Zhu Ranger never became Power Rangers. That is correct. Because they started with Zhu Ranger. The only time they went back was for Beast Morphers. It's the only time they went back for a Power Ranger season from a Sentai. Because what the Go Busters was like before, I know it was before Ninja Storm. I don't remember where it actually fits, but they went back. That's all I know is that they went back for Beast Morphers to Go Busters to do Beast Morphers. But yeah, they've never. I kind of wish they would have done something with the Jetman suits because I love the Jetman suit so much. I'm such a sucker for any time they have like a female Blue Ranger because blue is my favorite color, and I hate how much they like gender color here and in Japan apparently, because it's like my only options are usually pink and yellow Rangers in Power Rangers and Sentai. It's very rare for them to give me something else like a Green Ranger or a Blue Ranger like they have in some. Well, this is the first green or the first green girl Power Ranger. And I know that Sentai's had a couple, but like I don't like pink and I don't like yellow. So as you can kind of see behind me, you'll see that you don't see those colors. You might in that painting, because that painting is supposed to be all of the original Power Ranger colors, but some of the colors did not come out as well as others. But yeah, like, so as a girl, like I would like to see more stereotypically not female colors be females. That'd be ideal. I don't think I have one right now. Like I'd really have to like go back and rewatch all the ones that I've seen to really get an idea. Maybe Jetman. I don't love Jetman's. I mean, I love Jetman. Like, I like the song because it's just fun to sing. But I don't love the visuals. Is it because Megaforce was based on Gokaiger, I think, which was Toei's anniversary series, so it had a lot of references to older shows. Yeah, that's why the 21st season was actually the 20th. 20th season was actually Megaforce. Super Megaforce, which was supposed to be the 20th season, was actually 21st, and they used a different Sentai for Megaforce than they did for Super Megaforce, which is where they used Gokaiger. Yeah. So, which confuses me because we're supposed to be matching, and maybe it was because we missed a few Sentais at some point or something. I don't remember. I don't know the backstory too much at that from that time frame, but we may have missed a few. But we should have been pretty on par with Sentai. But I suppose technically we were, because I think it was actually, now that I think about it, I think it was because I think Zyuranger was like a special season and it was like our first season. I don't remember, but there was something. Maybe it's because we used 2 seasons for Megaforce at the same Sentai. We didn't need to. Do you think I, as someone who hasn't seen much Power Ranger series, would be able to jump right into just watching Dino Fury? So far, yes-ish. There are some lore references in Dino Fury. One specifically that is lore, but it wouldn't confuse you too much. I don't think you'd be super lost. Honestly, I think you'd be probably pretty okay. Because so far there hasn't been too much like lore. There's like one aspect of it that's old Power Rangers lore. But other than that, I think you're pretty safe to watch Dino Fury at this point. A lot of seasons are actually pretty safe. Just the anniversary episodes are, the anniversary seasons aren't. So like Wild Force, which is 10, Operation Overdrive, which is 15, Super Mega Force, which is 21, and Ninja Steel, Super Ninja Steel, technically, which is 25. The only thing that might confuse you with some of the original Saban seasons for sure are going to be like the team ups, because Saban used to do team ups with the most recent season. So like In Space teamed up with Lost Galaxy, and Lost Galaxy teamed up with Lightspeed Rescue, and Lightspeed Rescue teamed up with Time Force, and Time Force teamed up with Wild Force. So those kinds of things. But other than that, no, I think Dino Fury so far you could jump into and not be super confused. As long as you know what Power Rangers are. There hasn't been too much lore, just a little bit. And here I am, the guy who would love to be a Pink Ranger. I mean, that's fine. I would love to see a guy Pink Ranger. I would like to see non-binary characters in Power Rangers. I would like to see better representation of LGBTQ characters. I mean, there is a theory, which I'm a proponent of, that Vita from Mystic Force. That one, there's one aspect towards the end that would spoil the Zordon era for you. But other than that, it's fine. But Mystic Force, the Pink Ranger from Mystic Force, is into girls, which I full-heartedly believe is completely and utterly canon. I know some actors have played their characters as gay characters, which I love, but it's never been explicitly explained. The only time it's been explicitly part of the story is the 2017 Power Rangers movie. But I would like to see more LGBTQ representation for sure. And a guy Pink Ranger, whether he's straight, gay, or non-binary, trans, it doesn't matter to me as long as there's a guy Pink Ranger one day. That's all I care about. Power Ranger is my favorite parody season. I need to remember what that one is. I don't remember the names very well anymore. There are some like that I've seen that I will remember the names of, but the ones I haven't seen, I might not always remember the names of. If Super Megaforce had different actors, the show could have been much better. I disagree. The execution of Super Megaforce was terrible. Utterly terrible. It wasn't just the actor's fault. It was all around executional issues. everywhere. I'm gonna have to end the stream soon, you guys. So just so you guys know. But I disagree. If the cast was better, I mean, yeah, it would have been better, but it wouldn't have been much better because the execution all around of Megaforce and Super Megaforce was absolutely atrocious. And there's an entire, I think it's an hour long or hour and a half long video on my channel about just the anniversary episode and why it's atrocious. Well, yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of production reasons, but at the end of the day, Super Megaforce was the 21st season. It was never, I mean, they just acted like it was the 20th, and it drove me crazy. It drives me crazy. Like, I don't like it. But I mean, yeah, there are a lot of production things especially when you're licensing shows. Like, I know a lot about the licensing aspect of things. One, because I'm friendly with one of the original producers of the show, who also directs and produces anime. I've learned a lot of things from him, specifically about how licensing works and the contracts are signed. And yeah, there's a lot of things that are snuck in, a lot of shows that are snuck into those contracts that you have to do. But there were ways around that. There were 100% ways around that. Saban just didn't choose to do them. Would you consider watching the Korean Toku series Legend Hero? It's on YouTube officially with English subs. I've heard it's pretty good, though I haven't watched it myself. I mean, I would be interested. I do want to watch more Toku in general. Obviously, my only experience with Toku is Super Sentai at this point. I've seen bits and pieces of other things. And then there's an anime that I love that's a spoof of Toku. But I would be interested in that. I will add that to my list of of Toku that I want to watch. Now that I'm out of Sentai and actually probably back in the mood to watch something Japanese, or something subtitled in general, because obviously this is Korean. Something subtitled, because my brain, I have dyslexia, so it's really hard for me to watch subtitles sometimes. So I want to take a very long break from watching anything subtitled, because my brain just really got upset with me, and I was having a lot of trouble with reading after watching so many Sentai in a row. My brain really didn't like that. So LGBTQ representation in Power Rangers, it still infuriates me of how poorly David Yost was treated. He seems like such a wonderful man. Yeah. How he was treated in Power Rangers was absolutely atrocious, and it really makes Billy leaving and Zeo really terrible, really hard for me, because like knowing kind of the backstory of what was going on, I've never talked to Tony about it because he was still a part of the show when that was going on. I've never talked to Tony about it because I've never wanted to open that door with him. I can't imagine Tony was really much part of it, but who knows? He may have just changed since the 90s. I've only known Tony since 2014, I think, is how long I've known, is since when I met Tony. So I'd like to talk to Tony about it at some point. I just never brought it up. Yeah, it's awful. Legend Heroes. Got it. Adding it to the list. I don't know where I put my notebook, but I'll write it down. The actor of Coda in Dino Charge was actually in an episode. I knew that. Yeah, I'd heard that he went and did an episode of Ninja. And I know that there was one of the actors from the Sentai that did Dino Charge. I know one of the actors who was born in the United States, and currently lives in Japan, or was living in Japan at the time, and he was in the Sentai. He wanted to come back and play the same character, the same Sentai, or the same like the Power Rangers counterpart. I know that there was something about how he wanted to do that, and then they didn't do that. But yeah, anyway, okay, I think I'm going to end the stream here because I still have my personal pizza that I want to eat now. I have to heat it up now. But thank you all for joining me on this live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thank you for all of your input and recommendations and thoughtful questions. That was very nice. I enjoy doing these. So I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys all next week with another live stream. So far, the 20th was the only day that I knew that I was going to have to be late or not late, but I had to figure out if I was gonna be late or early. Chose to be early because of my sister's birthday, and we went to a brewery. So, but that was fun. I had a good time last Saturday instead of doing a live stream. So I enjoy doing these. I hope you guys come and join me for some more. I have a new video going out on Thursday. It is a story time, a wine story time about my roommate's boyfriend trying to hook up with me. So enjoy that on Thursday. That was a fun story to tell. And I'll see you guys all next week. Bye-bye, Matthew. Thank you for coming by and supporting me. You're my only friend, I guess. Just kidding. All my other friends are great. And by that, I mean the people that I have a group chat with that I met over YouTube. Legend Heroes channel. Good. I will not remember that specifically, but I will see what I can do to find it. Thank you. Oh, thank you for only watching my Power Ranger videos. There are some really good ones out there, so watch some more, but I'm glad you watched mine. Thank you, and I'll see you guys all next week. Bye.